Good morning. So yesterday I received in the mail a couple of games from Downey Games. I really love Jeff Downey's options. Ultra quick football, the ultra quick boxing, ultra quick MMA, game winning drive football. Those are the only games that I've ever purchased from Downey. I've kept my eye on some of the how can I say, less traditional sports games, like wrestling, bull riding, right? So I've kept my eye on those, and I've debated on them for years, getting a wrestling game, because I really enjoy. I've really only played one tabletop wrestling game ever, but I had a great time. Face the Mat by Play.com. However, I've tried to make my own wrestling games over the years, and I enjoyed the heck out of the games, although I never completed any that I felt were good enough to publish. Dell Branham is currently working on a wrestling game for our game company, which I'm playtesting. So, but anyway, I wanted to get a wrestling game for me, and he's got some fantastic choices, or at least I believe they're fantastic options. He's got Ultra Quick, which I own in PDF. I just haven't had a chance to print it yet. And then he has the TV wrestling, which looks fantastic. And one of the things I like about Downey is he sometimes provides the original game. So he works with game designers that might have created a game, I don't know, a decade ago, 2 decades, 3 decades ago, whatever. And he'll work with those individuals to kind of re-release the product, revamped, modernized, changed slightly, whatever. But and so I was looking at his TV wrestling, and then I saw that he also provides a chance to get the original game from back in the day that was sold at the Wrestling Arenas original TV wrestling. And so I have to start with the authentic original, because I love when somebody's willing to archive or keep something from our past, and with warts and all. Now, I'm not to say that he hasn't updated this version either. He may have, and that's what's fascinating about all of his most of his football games. Right? They are work, again, where he brings in people's work and either helps them get it better or reimagine it or whatever. Like goal football, what he also includes the original rules for goal football, which is so cool. You get the modern fast action goal football, but then you also get the original concepts and the original charts and the even types typed up. And there's just something so wonderful about retaining the once was of and what these people dreamed up or came up with, 30 years ago or 20 years ago or whatever. It's just cool. It's a cool thing. Anyway, long story short, I have patronized Downey for many of his quick play games over the years and for game winning drive football, but I've never purchased a full. Well, I take that back. I did purchase Main Event Boxing years ago, which is a full boxing sim, which is unbelievable. I don't know if I ever shared that on the channel. It's one of those that I probably should dig out and share on the channel, because I think Main Event Boxing is a fantastic boxing game. Okay, anyway, and of course the first things I ever bought from him were Game Winning Drive Football, and then Ultra Quick Boxing and Main Event Boxing, because I'm such a boxing guy, and they're both fantastic. So anyway, long story short, it arrives in the mail. I got Bull Riding printed, and I also bought Bull Riding in a PDF. And Ultra Quick Wrestling in PDF. And then I realized, I'd like to have this printed properly. It's a long story, but when I submit my PDFs to Office Depot to have them printed, because I don't own a printer, they print it, they literally don't scrutinize whether it should be printed landscape or so. If in his PDFs the rule books are portrait, but the charts are landscaped, they'll literally squish the frickin' charts into portrait. So more than once I've had a battle with Office Depot about, printing the damn files correctly. So long story short, I decided I didn't want to submit those and pay another $15 to have them printed out wrong. So Again, it's not to knock Office Depot. It's just for whatever reason, when you use the online printing thing, it does not disseminate. It's not the Office Depot's people's fault. It's the online automation. There's no way for me to go into a PDF and tell it print this page landscaped and these pages. So it literally will either print everything landscaped, and or it'll, long story short, it has been a failure in the past, and it's not the Office Depot people's fault. It's the automated software. So, long story short, I decided I'd rather have them manufactured, printed, properly and in quality. So I ordered a hard copy of Quick Bull Writing, and of course, TV style original, right? And probably depending on how much I enjoy this and whether there's something about this that is wanting, then I might get the updated version. But I have a feeling I'll love the original as much as I would the updated version. All right, so without further ado, but this is the other thing. It came in a great box, in a hard box, too big for my mailbox, which is wonderful because they couldn't fold it and ruin it. I have had my postal guys fold up shit and stuff it in my box. So it's big enough that he set it on the stoop, which is wonderful. And these were completely safe. Also, he puts them in these great envelopes, which is this alone is worth the extra fee to have them printed and shipped, to get them in these really nice plastic envelopes. So again, hats off to Downey Games, brilliant. It's got a snap here, and it's wonderful. So this is the wrestling game. I probably won't have time to play it because I don't want to play it incorrectly, but I'll go over what I got here. And again, you get a thank you letter. All of these game companies are fantastic at providing a nice little thank you letter and signed. So this one's called TV Pro Wrestling. On the website, it's called TV Pro Wrestling Original. So I'm assuming that I got the original. I don't know if you can even tell the difference. Let's see here, Jeff Costa. Yeah, so Jeff Costa. And he was also and there's also Vintage Pro Wrestling on his website, Ultra Pro. So he's got some really cool wrestling games. Again, a little write-up about the history of how he ended up, helping bring these back to the people, so to speak, in a mass way. It's got wrestling cards, how they're rated. I think there's other people out there that have done this on their channels, by the way, so I won't be the first guy to take a look at these. I can't remember now. I think Phil Miller, I think, has done a great video on how this plays. Yeah, I think it's Phil Miller. Pardon me if I'm wrong, or Pat Miller, Peter. Maybe it's Peter. I'm so sorry, I can't recall the YouTube channel, but he walks through the rules and how to play. If you're curious about how these games play, I think he does ultra quick wrestling, and he does TV style wrestling. So better than I can, because my camera, unfortunately, is not high quality, so you won't be able to see this as well. But he's got singles, establishing control, executing holds, wrestler styles, wrestling hold systems, right? What the ratings mean, which is incredible. Tiring, damage, endurance, cuts, countouts, referees and DQs, finishing moves, pins, and submissions. And again, we've got tag team cards. So both wrestlers are on one card and their tag team name, and then some double team moves and finishers. This is very cool. Right, so mechanics. So again, we got a really nice rule book, which I have to also say this about Downey's games. They're not double-sided. They're not front and back. They're single-sided, if you'll see that. So again, you might say, well, yeah, but he can conserve paper. But I can read this much easier when I can flip it. It's just easier to read. So I really actually like the way he prints his rule books, too. We got our score sheets. These are always nice. Score sheets for me I use score sheets as a tutorial. The score sheets actually teach me how the game's supposed to be set up and how you're supposed to, what information is relevant to scoring the match. I rarely use printed score sheets in any game. I use notebooks, notebook paper, because I store this stuff, and also because I don't want to print out 100 of these sheets and, for 20 bucks or 30 bucks. So I use these sheets as a kind of a tutorial learning tool that teaches me what information is necessary for me to score the game, and then I can transfer what I need over to notebook paper or to notebooks, etc. So I love when a game company includes a scoring sheet, right? Especially if the game is unique, right? Unlike say a football score sheet, well, that's just tracking stats and time and nothing special generally about a football score sheet. Appball score sheet was important because it showed me that I'm supposed to write down the starting 11 in their certain positions on both offense and defense and tally them up. So Appball's score sheet was all about setting the game up properly so you can play it. It wasn't really a score sheet. So Appball football score sheet helped me tremendously when I first got it. So I try to play games rules as written when I first get them because that's the best way to learn them properly. And again, then I can decide, okay, do I need to have all 20 to negative 20 endurance points? No, I just need to write down on the sheet where a guy's current endurance is at on a sheet as I go through round by round or turn by turn. But I'm going to use this, of course. So I love it when we get score sheets, especially for unique games that are, like this, like the wrestling game. I don't know how it plays. I don't know how it scores. I don't know what's really important for the score sheet. Huge. And then we get to the game itself, the charts. We got the holds charts, high flyers, plotters, all-arounders, brawlers, technicals, and high spots. So that's awesome. Some wrestlers are going to be rated for high flyers, and every time their number comes up, you're going to use their abilities for the scores, which is very cool and makes it quick but also detailed. Right, we're going to get that sense of that wrestler's style while he's scoring points or DQs or whatever. Holds chart for a normal match. So we've got two holds charts. So it's just a continuation. High spot, tired, and outside. Okay, so there's... Oh, and then we got tag team. Holds charts for tag teams. So that's awesome. And again, single-sided, so I'm not fumbling around trying to find a chart. Right, when you have this many charts, it's nice to just have them in order. Holds chart, tag team, the second chart. Okay. And the charts make it... So the thing about charts... number one, dice, it's self-explanatory, but the charts give you the details, the depth that you're going to want, and they can differentiate, but they're also easy to use in play, right? And then we got pre-match event possibilities. So before the match, we roll to see what's going on. We have the allied locator, which is interesting. I don't know anything about that. Modified heat rules, and then we have high, medium, and low heat levels, and then we have pre-match event charts, which are very cool. You know, wrestling is a show from beginning to end. And there's so much happens outside the ring that becomes part of the story, part of the show that you're watching. Entertainment sports, we call it. In-match event chart. This is in-match event chart. So this, of course, was stuff that could go down while they're wrestling. We got the post-match event chart. Okay, this is outstanding. So that's cool, right? I love it. And he tells you right on them what type of style of dice you need. D66, 2D6, D20. And then we have our wild event chart. Oh my God, that's outstanding, right? And he manages to fit them on 8x10, which I've got to give him credit. And I can read this fairly well. Normally when font gets small, I lose interest. As my eyesight is not great, even with my reading glasses. Not so much. I have an astigmatism too, so that it's not so much that I can't read it. It's that it's difficult for me to find the line, right? With the astigmatism, so I have to hunt and peck and read that. One reason I don't play Second Season Express as much anymore is it's difficult for me to read the little charts. So if people have noticed that I'm not playing Second Season, I'm not playing it in my private time near as much as I was. Because as I age, I'm having a hell of a time reading those little charts. And that becomes frustrating for me. So I wish Second Season would put out new charts, kind of like Fast Drive Football, maybe a larger chart book with those charts. So easier for old guys like me to read, even in the light conditions aren't ideal. So anyway, so these are a little small, which means I'll have to be very careful about reading them. The holds chart for cage matches. Outstanding. The holds chart for cage matches. Here it is. New TV Pro Wrestling. Slap, Rip, and Smack. And there's the original. There it is. I was going to say, I thought I ordered the original. I wonder why he gave me the new. That's very kind of him if he gave me the new. TV... Son of a gun. Did he give me the new? That's very kind of him. if he did. Oh, this looks like it might be also original. That's a trip. Oh yeah, look, it's got different ratings. That's excellent. Sections. Yeah, this looks like it was the original. It's typed up. It's actually photostated. So these were photocopied from what looks to be original. That's outstanding. So that's very cool. I love being able to see what was he selling back in 1975 at wrestling arenas, as he was a wrestler himself. And I'm a big fan. I've talked about this before. I love old typeset from typewriters. I would love to publish all of my books and games in this old typeset. And I'm using Courier for my books, trying to capture that. But when you see this typeset, it just instantly, to me, means classic. And it vibes back to a different era of our lives when things were, more, I can't explain it, but it just instantly takes me to a different place. So anyway, I love this typeset photostat, especially when we're seeing the die roll stuff here, right? Interesting. Okay, so that looks like it was original. And now it says here, this is Downey Games, obviously, presentation of the original. Oh, here's our wrestlers. So these can be cut out if I want to, which I will cut these out. And they're all on cardstock, which is wonderful, so I can just cut them out. And we now have Bruiser Coaster. Bruiser Coaster? I didn't know. Is that his name? I guess Costa's his name, right? Okay. And again, we have all of his ratings ready to play. I think it comes with 84 wrestlers or something. Ooh, Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair. That's a surprise. So it's got some legit, real cats in here. Well, I mean, obviously Costa's real, of course, but I didn't know how many of these guys were real boxers and how many are fiction. Because I think it does have some fictional wrestlers in it, and I don't know enough about the history to know who's fictional. I mean, obviously I know Hulk Hogan is not fictional, but I have no Roddy Piper, one of my favorites. That's awesome. So it's got some straight up recognizable figures for me. Again, I was not a wrestling fan as a kid. I did not follow wrestling. I've only discovered of late, as wrestling, I think ultimately came around to admitting what it was about, I became more apt to give it attention. Because as a kid growing up, it was somewhat insulting that they expected me to believe it was real. So even as a kid, it was obvious to me that it was not fake in their athletic ability, not fake in that they would have to leap from the top rope and they would have to fall outside the ring. That shit's real when you're hitting the pavement or you're hitting the ropes. But that it is putting on a show, right? Okay. And that's not a negative thing. It's insulting when they try to tell you that they're not. So, all right, and then we got our tag teamers here. Very cool. So I can't wait to give this a try. I've been thinking about finding a wrestling game for a long time, and I finally said, well, I know Downey has some, and I just went back to the guy and ordered the game from the guy. And I think this will be a fantastic addition to my table for wrestling. And again, the Ultra Quick is great because you just do a quick pre-match check, match up the wrestlers, roll the dice. It tells you who wins and how, and then you roll to see how they win, and you might do some post checks, and it's over in seconds. Like the Ultra Quick Boxing, Ultra Quick Football, they're over in just a few minutes, a few seconds. But I wanted something that allowed me to have the ebb and flow of a wrestling match, and so I had to get something, and why not TV style from Downey Sports. And also love the way he delivers these. And by the way, this got here in like 3 days, which is also another thing. It's no BS. His website's very easy to use, very friendly to use, and expedites the order quick, expedites payment, and boom, I got this thing in like 3 days. It's fantastic. And then again, bull riding. Let's take a look at bull riding. This intrigues the heck out of me. I love the idea of a full day of bull riding. Every cowboy drawing his bull and seeing who can win these bull riding. And this, what really sold me on it was not only it's ultra quick, which means I can do the whole day, the whole tournament or the whole day quickly, matching up these guys, but it also has injuries and special stuff on it. It's like, okay, this is not going to be just roll and see who wins. There's a chance that guys get hurt, etc. It's like, oh, this is going to be very cool. And I got the base, which has fictional bulls and fictional riders, but he also sells actual historical sets of real cowboys, real riders, and real bulls. Once again, single-sided rules, stapled for ease of use. You can flip this baby open and read it easily and move through it. So that is, again, very, very good. Again, we get a random number sheets. And so this is the random number sheets are, so I suppose you don't need dice, right? I'm assuming that you'd use random number sheets for your roll. Okay, I rolled a 34, check them off. Oh, the next roll is an 11, check it off. I'm assuming that's what this is for. So you don't need dice, right? I think that's so. And they're already pre-rolled for you, right? I'm assuming that's how that works. But he says here, let's read it. In lieu of dice, you can also use random number sheets. There we go. Okay. Of course, I will use dice. Matter of fact, in anticipation this was coming, I already dug out the dice I wanted to use for both wrestling and bull riding, my 10s and my 20 and my d6s. Okay, random number sheet here. Oh, here we go. So this is for the 57. This is for the percentile. So random number sheet for percentile. Over here is random number sheet for just a single d10. It's very cool. When I ordered boxing from him years ago and football from him years ago, ultra quick, he didn't have random number sheets. So I wonder if he started doing this. That's amazing. Good for him. So I wonder now, does he sell this with ultra quick football, boxing? Boy, I hope he does, because this is a genius idea for people who don't even want to use dice, right? Throw this in your briefcase if you travel. Break it out in a hotel room, and when you get home at night, kick your shoes off. Order your hamburger from room service. Set out on a table with this. Didn't bring dice, clattering around, carrying dice around. Break out and get a few bull rides in, right? Or get a few football games in or whatever. Very cool, very smart. Rider score chart, right? So here's our scoring for judges. Again, these are charts, so they're on a card stock. The mark chart, campaign charts, hallelujah. Minor injury, major injury, and this is when I went, okay, I want to order this because I got the PDF, and I thought, okay, we'll see what it entails for me to print it out, and then again, I decided when I read the PDF that I wanted to go ahead and order this in hard copy too. Fantastic. This has just got more. It's got a little depth to it to make this a fun game to play over a long period of time. And I love this, right? Our World Bull Riding Council schedule. This is fictional, remember. So in January, we're going to be in the United Kingdom Invitational. Leeds, United Kingdom. I love that. So these cowboys are going to be getting on planes, and they're going to be shipping bulls and whatnot. Or maybe not. Maybe the bulls are UK bred and born. I don't know. That's too cool. Reared in the UK are the bulls. And I've always heard that the bulls in the UK are softer than the bulls over here. We have some serious bulls over here. But, the UK cattle, I don't know. In the United Kingdom, didn't the United Kingdom have a mad cow problem for a long, long time? So maybe a mad bull would be far more dangerous to ride. So I should take that back. UK bulls may be far better, or far more dangerous. Anyway, we got our bulls, which are awesome. They're all rated, right? And then of course we're gonna have our riders, which is incredible. And if you would have said to me, bull riding, is that gonna be fun? Hell yeah, it's fun. I've watched a few on TV. I'll tune in on a Sunday morning before the football game will come on, and there'll be pro bull riding on before it, and I'll watch that stuff, and it's pretty cool. It's fun. So we've got riders. And we've got bulls. So cool. And again, he does sell actual historic sets, 1999 circuit or 2006 or whatever. He sells different circuits. So that's bull riding. Bull riding is a simple D10, D100. Wrestling uses D6s and a D20. So, different game engines. Different game engines. I'm really interested in those random number sheets. It's amazing. Years ago, when I first was running games online, I would run old D&D sessions, OSR D&D sessions on my old YouTube channel. Back in the day, that YouTube channel was called Dark Age of Man, and I first showed up on YouTube and invited people through Google. Google had its own online live chat service, and so you could play live online via Google and invite, I think, up to 6 people in those groups. And I would run, OSR games that were based on old D&D for, friends and strangers or whatever. They were strangers to me at the time. They obviously become friends over a long time. But I would use in those sessions, just like this, I would pre-roll all of the dice I would need as a DM for the entire session. So I would pre-roll hundreds of 20s, hundreds of 10s, 4s, 6s. And I did that because I didn't want to have to pick up the dice and roll them in session, and I didn't want them to know all the time when I was rolling. So I would use pre-roll sheets, and then locally I started using pre-roll sheets for my local games, because again I didn't want them going, what does he roll? He's rolling the dice, because that starts them thinking about the game and not about what they're doing. So the minute you pick up dice and drop them behind your shield, all the players at the table look at each other like, oh shit, something's coming or whatever. So I would start using these because they kept their mindset on what they were doing, not the game, the mechanism of the game triggering their uh-oh, he's rolling dice, uh-oh, something's coming. So I started using these. So it's funny because I was using these purposely for D&D sessions, and it's so cool to see somebody provide them for tabletop sports. And again, for those who just don't own dice, or for those who travel and don't want to drag dice with them, it's very smart, very cool. So again, Jeff Downey, smart man, ahead of the curve here, very cool. I also have one other game coming. It hasn't come yet, and again, when that comes, I will do an opening, and I'm incredibly excited about that game. As I have a feeling it's going to be, hopefully, it could be the future long-term game of choice, and if not, I'll keep searching for the best version of the thing that I need. So, all right, everybody have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.